talking about dog wardens, we know that they're employed by local authorities, and I suppose we need to have one authority. It's either going to be the Department of Agriculture or the local authorities, because we need them to be responsible for the farmers, to help the farmers and ensure that they're doing their job as well, because you can't have, the Department of Agriculture over it as such, and not the dog warden is not responsible to him. So that's a kind of an anomaly that must be straightened out by us as members here. And again, it's absolutely ridiculous when I hear Deputy Willie Aid saying that you can't challenge people on our own land. I mean, that'll tell you how far and where the thing is gone, because that's the truth. And that shouldn't be the case. If we're responsible for our own farms and our own place and our own property, there should be no one else able to surmount that or take no notice of us. The farmers must get assistance, and the only one that can deal with situations like this is the Gardaí. And there's a lot of work to be done, like Willie has said, and we need to get our act together and ensure that it will be the one authority in charge of the dog wardens, because they have a role to play. And if someone reports that their sheep are being worried, or their animals, it can be, I see them after cows as well, and after calves, and after horses, and like the damage they can do to them. Very valuable animals. I know all sheep are valuable to the farmers that have them, but they can be way more expensive. And if a farmer confronts someone, he should be safe doing that, and take the numbers of their car or whatever, and they have to be followed up by the Gardaí. I can see no other way of doing it.
Yeah, look, just one good point you raised there, Danny, is, look, I have seen it, and I'll be speaking to farmers from Donegal down to West Kerry. The older generation of farmers have given up going in the hills on bank holidays and weekends because of the serious issue with run-ins with people. They've been abused, they've been shouted at. For those people that stood here, I suppose, in the 70s, 80s and 90s when the rest of us emigrated, and they're treated like dirt now at this time of their life. They're afraid to go and check their animals on bank holidays and weekends. That's totally outrageous in this day and age. Thank you, Carriala.
Senator Britt. I'm totally in agreement with that. It's unacceptable in this day and age. But let's be quite clear on this. I hunt on horseback, I shoot. We're registered, we're licensed, we have dogs that are under control. They do what they're meant to do. They're not the problem here. Let's be quite clear on that. The NARGC, the members, they have a license, they have a gun, they have a dog, they're licensed. They go where they're meant to go, they do what they're meant to do. They are not the problem, and I wouldn't like them labelled in anything to do with this, and that's been quite clear. Before we go any further, the problem is, as you say, in black spot areas where the dogs are being let off. The farmers have cooperated to put these walkways, cycleways and everything through their land. Permission has been given. I've been involved in lots of them. Our walkways are always fenced off with cheap wire, and should have been all fenced off with cheap wire. Any dog that's on a walkway that hasn't got permission to be there should be on a leash, 100%. If he's not on a leash, he shouldn't be out on a walkway in any hill, anything. Legislation needs to be tightened up on this, and needs to be tightened up firmly. And I think this committee here today, going forward with your suggestions and your feedback, we will put policy together, and we will firm this up, and hopefully it will alleviate some of the problem. But I just like to be associated with that. It's not all owners of dogs, because I'm a pet owner. I control my dogs. I have a hunting association. I go horseback riding. We don't cause problems. And if a problem arises, and let's be quite clear on this, and you often have a problem, we are insured for any problem that is caused out there. So if a dog runs out in front of a car and a car is damaged, we're insured by the NARJC or by the Hunting Association. So, like, we're legalised by doing what we do. So let's be quite clear on that.
Yeah,
Thanks, Chair. Yeah.
Look, I just want to make the point here today. I have no problem with hunts on these people coming on our lands. They've been there ever. They're well behaved. You do your best. But the recreational user, the walkers that are coming onto our land, this is where the problem is. And that's why we need to see legislation brought in that bans the recreational user bringing his dog onto our farmland. And if that can't be done, and there needs to be a strong statement put out from this House to say those words, that we can't have this happening any longer. Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks very much. Chairman, I suppose a common thread here, and nobody, Senator Brady, is talking about the responsible people with permission, or indeed the people who are keeping their dogs under effective control at all time. But unfortunately, and that's why we've had no choice but to commence our campaign 5 years ago of No Dogs Allowed, the behaviour of a small minority is going to impact on the access that the responsible people are going to have to our farmland. We cannot continue to have a situation where dogs are going to be allowed on hills. And effectively, and Deputy Kinney referenced an accidental breakout from a dog of somebody doing everything right, and these things happen, they can't be addressed. But the majority of attacks on our sheep and indeed on our livestock are in their two headings of owners, either arrogance or ignorance. And the arrogance are the people who, for the various examples given that's happening, maybe illegal activities or assumed entitlement and assumed right. And then we have the ignorance, people who just don't appreciate. And I would give some hop of the ball to the ignorant aspect of it. But the arrogant aspect of it is no way acceptable. We've had a member of ours who was physically abused on his own farmland, not very many miles from here, Chairman, only a couple of years ago. One of the first people to give access to his lands for recreational users. When he merely asked for the person to keep his dog off his land, he was physically abused on his own farmland. Now, we have to get to a situation where there can be no more confusion around that.
Deputy Lawless.
Thank you, Chair.